a sonata, Beethoven sonata for her, and all goes well, and it's benediction. Okay, I accept. All well, we begin. And a session starts, very first, the one-on-one, alone with her, not the group session, because there were very famous group sessions with about 30 people in the classroom, and then there were the one-on-one sessions, all equally extraordinary and valuable. And the first session with her had me in tears afterwards, sobbing, crying, weeping. She turns to me, but what is the problem, my dear? All is well. I love you. There's that word, love again. I'm very pleased. All is well. Why are you crying? As if something were wrong. And I said, but that's just it. It's so perfect. I said to her, I'm so happy to be here and to be with you. And what you just said to me, and this session that we just had, was so fantastic. And she looked at me, and the sentence that I'm now about to say is really the start for everything I want to say now about her. And so I'm praising her and saying how marvelous she is. This is great. All is perfect. That's when I'm weeping over it. Looks at me and says, my dear, do not forget the words of the great French writer and philosopher Blaise Pascal when he says, tu ne m'aurais pas cherché si tu ne m'avais pas déjà trouvé. You would not have searched for me if you had not already found me. Think about that for a second. I thought that all night long when she launched that. And the point was made. Who are you? And so the onus is on the student. Who cares about one Nadia Boulanger? Was her rap. Not the point. Who are you? You who speak. What do you have to say? What do you think? What do you know? What do you hear? Those are her final words after one summer session. That's all I want to know. Bye. And so the point was made. That's it. It's all you. You know, she's this amazing phenomenon on Earth. You know, she's the first woman to conduct the Boston Symphony, the New York Philharmonic. Are you aware of this? I don't want to repeat. You know this already, right? You have the whole the story on that. So historically, rather extraordinary, being this first woman to conduct. Yeah, I just held it up. I can pass it, sure. But, and the first woman to record Monteverdi, yes, in 1939. The first Monteverdi recording. In case you're not absolutely clear about the global reach, right? And the capacity to listen to a vast, complex orchestra work of a young student. It's recorded. Student orchestra. Very complex, not easy. Like the works we heard yesterday by the talented composers. One hearing, to the piano, reproduced perfectly. That's Nadia Boulanger. Okay? So we're beyond just a good teacher. We're beyond. We're in another zone. And we're able to isolate each voice. One composer student to a very complex composition, orchestra, she hears it once, goes to the piano and says, the bassoon part for me, a little bit maladroit here because, and playing the line, the bassoon part that she has isolated alone. So that makes her, as a composition teacher, rather more than precious, because she has your piece more than you. She knows you better than you. And the point of it all of the above, is to make you more you. Since she is able to take everything that she has heard, either someone playing a Beethoven sonata, or a Stravinsky piece, or whatever it is, or Copland, or Chopin, or Schumann, or whatever, or hearing a piece by a composer. In both cases, knows you better than you. Often lines where people remember her saying, right here, these messages right here, that's not you. For example, the well-known Boulanger phrase. That's not you. It's not honest. It's not honestly you. Honesty, very important, by the way. Not honest. Not truly you. It's contrived. It's contrived. Not really you. Not really felt. Or not really heard. Very famous words that composers would tremble when they heard. You really didn't hear that. It's not heard, contrived. She was completely psychic. I'm talking about the knowledge and, omniscience and all of the music, of course, the entire history, like a walking, hard disk. It was all there, every note of everything. I mean, that I think you know as well, right? Okay, so, at a drop of a hat, anything would be able to come out of those hands on the piano, no problem. I feel like going to the piano and starting. Okay, too much talk. There's just so much to say, I don't know where to begin. A lovely quotation, though, I want to give. It came to mind when I read a work by the Portuguese writer Pessoa. He's a great writer, by the way. If you don't know about his work, it's interesting to look at. And the sentence that I read that struck me, that related completely for me to Nadia Boulanger: when I met her, my master appeared in me. And it's a sentence that comes from Pessoa. That's exactly the thought that came inside, because you really felt, and she used the word sometimes as well, when she felt that students needed push, should we say, even more and more guidance, which most students need. You felt that she was your conscience. I feel me inside as your conscience. In other words, when you're in the practice room alone, feel the exigence, the requirements, the standard, even without me being there. I am your conscience. Sounds pretentious, but she's so real and so totally devoted, should we say, to the one point, which was music, that it isn't. It really, it meant that she's pushing you to absolutely the highest that you could possibly go, which of course any good teacher does. And so I think this Pessoa sentence is good. Another one I want to hit you with, Aristotle. And it's not too exaggerated to quote philosophers when it comes to her, because there's a lot of philosophy here. First of all, her method is Socratic, Socrates. The who are you, right, basis. She was never about, hello class, today we're going to do. Practically never. It was all about a challenge that she would give, what do you hear? And would start from you, start from the student. And then very gradual, and keep working and working and working with this, to get the student to find what she wanted them to find, to really go as far as they could. I'll give some examples today. That was really what I fundamentally wanted to do, is show specific examples that she did in her class. I think that's most interesting than a lot of words. So Socrates definitely is a name to be mentioned because of the Socratic method of working with what she can extirpate from you, the other. And the other is Aristotle, who is a figure who preferred, and this is I know I'm zapping you here with this, but she preferred truth to friendship. That's it. So, I can put this one down. What luxury. And take this, which is obvious. Okay. Oh, a couple of more words. Yeah. Okay. So there a couple of just random thoughts that I put down. I want to read. Since she is music incarnate, okay, if one has a problem with her, I reasoned, then one has a problem with music itself. That was my logical conclusion from all of this. So that is why it is not far, I'm just going to read my thoughts here, it is not far from unreasonable to proclaim that at this level of perfection and commitment towards this approach towards perfection, each in their individual way, that clearly being a true musician is not meant for everyone. So we are dealing with the eternal dichotomy between the level of aspiration and the level of achievement. And Mademoiselle, the ideal barometer. And she was well known, very cruel, telling people that they were not meant to be musicians, quite simply. And it was very sincere. It was not, again, not an act. She said, the combination of the all-knowing and that psychic nature. I can give you endless, we don't have enough time, endless illustrations of the clairvoyant that she was. Absolutely unbelievable. Boom, and accurate, deadly accurate. And so when she said to someone that she felt they were not meant to be a musician, it really was true. They were not. It sounds absolute, cruel, all the rest, but it was really the nail on the head. Okay. Rules. Rules. We talk about rules. No parallel fifths in harmony, in true, academic scholastic harmony exercises. Her take on that. Rules really, in fact, ought to be qualifications of what we feel, this is a quote of Nadia Boulanger, should be qualification of what we feel deep inside ourselves. So when the sound is ugly, or could be more interesting in spacing, in movement, voice movement, etc., voice leading, she really wanted that to come from deep within you. Spacing, very important. We'll get to that as well. I wanted to talk about first. Stravinsky. I'm still on the rules subject. So, a Stravinsky line that she loved. Academism, becoming academic, results when the reasons for the rule change but not the rule. Aha. So, which is another way of saying the rule should be absolutely what you feel in any case inside, deep inside. Now, let's just take a simple exercise that one sees in a lot of treatises of harmony. Sixth chords, first inversion chords, based on top of the C major scale. So, for example, well-known exercise that a lot of students went through. And then going down. But if someone played it, but why so ugly? I don't understand. And a half an hour lecture on the desire to make beauty, quite simply. Why it has to be played. Not understanding that the rule is not felt as something natural, the word natural very important, and that the playing with a sense of beauty should also be just as natural. Couldn't understand chunk, chunk, chunk. Couldn't understand. And then they would get more complex, the exercises, until there's the same C major scale, same first inversions put on top of it, but with a canon in the middle. And then we're talking really beautiful. It is everything and it is nothing. Famous. It's nothing. What? Quite everything if you really give true love to every note in there and enjoy the canon happening between the soprano and the tenor. And then her famous line, find a joy in obligation, or the result is worth nothing. Find a joy in that obligation, or it's nothing at all. And then when you do this beautiful avoided cadence sequence that she had everyone playing every key. So of course what it underscores, it's gorgeous. Absolutely, I see you all melting. So you're all real musicians, I know. And I heard it said, you're the best group ever that was here. I heard it said yesterday. So I know you get it. And I love the reactions I'm seeing here. Just, it's magnificent. The minor two, it sends it off to another key, a fifth below. brings me to really the point of fifths. So, famous illustration, I assume you've probably done this sort of thing here. I mean, again, taking C major, the subdominant below the tonic, the dominant. Yes, supertonic, the submedian, the median. Seventh takes you home. So this is a famous Nadia exercise of 4, 1, 5, the 3 major in major scale, the 3 minors, the supertonic, the submedian, the median, and the diminished that takes you home. So those 7 notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right, being a kind of basic. But then, in typical Nadia synthetic form, would immediately go. So when Bach in the prelude in C sharp minor from the Welter clavier does. And then immediately in the next breath, Chopin. First A2. So fifths again, obviously. And then when Ravel does in the Tombeau de Couperin, yes. Fifths are augmented, diminished, augmented, diminished, augmented, diminished. Yes? They're not perfect fifths, they're augmented, diminished. He plays with the circle of fifths in that way. But that's a typical Nadia bite that I just gave you there, right? The Bach, the Chopin, the Ravel. Immediately. Okay, fifths, right? So the final chord, this is typical of Nadia's head going like this in the entire. And it's that speed. It's that speed, of course. It's very fast. The final chord of she's a hard drive is computing. Persephone of Stravinsky. Final chord. Do you have a sense of Persephone? And so who knows Persephone? And of course everyone's sitting there. Not really. Yes, sort of. The final chord. Full orchestra, and the tenor sings L'avenir, future. L'avenir on that chord. Fifths, right? So all of that in the same curve. The Bach, the Chopin, the Ravel. Stravinsky, right? In one breath, all of that, right? And assuming that you're feeling that and receiving that, of course, it's just fifths, nothing else. Yeah, of course, right? The whole history of music, like that. And then Elliott Carter, your student Elliott Carter. I'll be playing a work of his. In the most complex works of Elliott Carter, we're in the ambiance. But it's amazing because the light is on my text.
Yes, because it's on that side.
There's no other light except the text. Amazing. Nadia, stop playing around again. But things like that would happen all the time. She was doing a lecture on the Pastoral Symphony of Beethoven, the 6th. And it was gorgeous sunny weather. And we got to the storm in the 6th Symphony, the Pastoral Symphony, and suddenly the clouds went dark, and there was a storm. And of course we all understood that Nadia arranged that. Suddenly, a blazing storm. At the moment we get to the storms moment in the Pastoral Symphony. So there are definitely otherworldly influences here working with the amazing lady. But get back to what I was just saying, after that surprise. In Carter, we have extremely complex writing, but in the middle, fifths, all the time. If you know night fantasies, anyone play night fantasies? Pianists? There are no pianists here, they're all in Paris. But I mean, naturally, I'd rather go to Paris than go to a lecture. Yeah, fifths all over. If you play the night in the night fantasies, it's one of the well-known examples of Carter's more recent piano works, shall we say. And in it, it's just fifths. So now that takes me to spacing. I did promise to talk about spacing of chords. I mean, just the spacing of that last Persephone chord, Stravinsky. That I could spend hours just enjoying every detail in that, what's happening in that full orchestra chord. But when you look at, for example, just Beethoven Fourth Concerto, the details. Okay, but not, but, right. In the Cavatine of Opus 130 String Quartet Beethoven, right? Okay, you all know that by heart. There's one moment when you hear, yeah. That's it. The strings, of course. So that's spacing right there. Tomorrow, some of you I know are singing. Just that, right there. But there's one moment towards the end, okay, there's a... And then... that. Have you zoomed in on that or not? That. Or you're too busy learning it and singing it. But have you heard those two piled fifths? Okay, but that's a typical Nadia, that zoom. Okay, you've seen the video, the DVD, the Bruno Mont-Saint-Jean film, Mademoiselle, and you hear her enjoying the false relation of the F sharp, F natural in the William Byrd Avevero, yes? The fourths in Wozzeck, Baird. And then the giant tapestry. She would use the word giant tapestry of music with Josquin des Prés, 14th century, for example, looking at different modes, the Phrygian mode on F sharp. And then Fauré, immediately we're into 19th century, at the end of the 13th Nocturne. Etc. And then Aeolian on beat. So, the mere regret de vous abandonner of Josquin des Prés, 14th century, followed by the Fauré. Rhythmic modes. Immediate. So, for example, iambic. We have. Last sonata of Beethoven, that iambic, short, long. Okay, but in the same breath, Copland sonata.
So it doesn't even matter about the specific, but it's just the iambic that matters, and that big giant tapestry in which she's putting all those extraordinary parts together. For her, she's always using the word, I don't like the notion of rupture, of break. For me, it's all one giant, continuous tapestry, and I love this expression that she would use all the time. History is never linear. Life is not linear. Forget it. It's about successive risings and settings of the sun, of ideas, concepts, thoughts, whatever. It's not linear. And that is kind of the justification of what she's doing here. It's not linear. So, of course, in a split second, we can think of Josquin, 14th century, and then Fauré, and then Beethoven, and then Messiaen modes when he's doing the chocade in all his bird pieces, etc. The iambics are there too. Same. And so there was very little that surprised her, I guess is what I'm saying. I mean, people would come in with compositions, she'd hear everything. She was avid, following everything. She went to every concert of the Boulez Domaine Musical, for example. Every concert, aware of everything. So nonsense to these people who said she was an old-fashioned lady. I mean, nonsense, absolute nonsense. Totally aware. Every note in her ear she could reproduce perfectly. No problem. No problem. Know it. And she knew exactly what she didn't like in it or what she liked in it. Messiaen knew exactly what she liked in it, knew exactly what she loathed in Messiaen. Very clear. Absolutely no problem at all. But knew it. And that's the point. And I worked on Boulez with her. I did the entire repertory with her, but also Boulez, for example, which surprises a lot of people. Absolutely clear, absolute crystal, every note. Unbelievable, I'll never forget it. And then, Ecoles, I worked on it. Yes, so the second thing, isolating each note in all of that. No problem at all. Just put it. And made me so much clearer about the voicing of big clusters like that. No problem at all, none. Good. Premonitions. I mean, so it's one big vast tapestry. Okay, that point is made. So for example, we can find signs of works later to come. For example, you listen to the Archduke Trio, Beethoven, and you hear what are we listening to? Fauré, of course. That is pure Fauré. And so she would jubil, she would quell, thrilled that in playing the Beethoven we're hearing Fauré. There's all Gottlieb, and she's like a little girl, with her eyes wide in the wonder of that. Thrilled. Okay. Moving right along because it can only be sound bites here. And exactly what I want to say. Often sound bites. This is what I was saying when I gave my kind of introduction, saying it was hardly ever about class today we're going to do. Right? It was, what do you hear when I do? I know you know this. What do you hear? That's pretty vague. It could, you think, take hours to work out what one heard. What it finally worked out to after quite a bit of time, and she not revealing, saying anything. You, the other. And they worked it out that it was in fact 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. That's an 8/8. And she was hoping that most people didn't know the piece because she wanted you to hear it. Praying you hadn't looked at the score. And most hadn't. We were very young. We're 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So most of these folks had not experience with the Ravel Trio. Right. And they worked it, and the thrill of working it out, that you got that there's the 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1. Right. Chopin Etude. Right. And work out how we got from 2. Chopin, Schumann Fantasy. One of her favorite moments. So, most Boulanger students had treasured the moment of. So in C major, the flat 3, E flat, right? Flat 3, E flat to D. But then it goes. So then it's sharp too. It's D sharp. Right. So the play of that minor E flat and harmonically D sharp. My trial by fire, personally, in the group class, and I finally got it, it must have been 20 minutes, 15, long, when a class of 30 sitting there, and you're at the piano and you got to figure out, what do you hear? Here we go again. First sonata of Beethoven. What do you hear? Famous Nadia lines. What do you hear? Dumb J went, I think I... Come on! Right. Plucked me out of the 30. Au piano. And it was for me to work it out. And she pushed me in her usual Socratic method to find, I mean, what I was kind of tripping around my tongue while I was hearing that octave. That I was hearing, true. And then you need to work it out and refine. Okay, good. She's happy that I heard already that. So what's happening? And after working it out, the thrill, it remains one of the most thrilling days of my life, and I've had lots of thrilling days, but the thrill of a 13-year-old hearing the C flat, B flat going down, and that same octave, same note there, octave lower, you think is an octave, it's not. C flat, but the downstairs it's a B that pushes up to C. So it's the same as the Schumann, the third minor, the third descending, the second raised. And here they are simultaneously in the Beethoven. So one is C flat, the other is B natural. Simultaneous. But it's luminous. It's so little and tiny and detailed, and yet luminous because it's the true workings, the inner workings of the object. It's truly what makes the object tick, and that's exciting. And to work it out for yourself, to hear it, finally get yourself to hear. Yeah, I was wondering if maybe a quick example of the marvelous analysis that you did. First prelude of Bach. Okay, so, I don't know which direction to even go. I mean, it's so vast, as you can see. I'm stuttering here, not even knowing where to go. It's so endless. But okay, let's take first, we're playing Bach, Brandenburg, we're playing third. So let's look at Bach for a second. First prelude. So every student, pianist, of course, blocks. Without thinking, talking about what dinner we're going to have tonight. Oh, we're going to lamb, I think we're having green beans, not even thinking. Absolutely, totally natural in the body. Just in the blood, right? That's step -1. That. And then we can begin to amuse ourselves, right? Once that's incorporated. And here's the beauty of the subtlety of her ears, her analysis, her global view. Most hack analysts say, okay, 1, 2, 5, 1, 6, 5 of 5. But what she got everyone to see, that in fact, after the 1, 2, 5, 1, okay, that this, right here, does not leave it, that's not 5 of 5. This is what I'm going to say, this point. That is not 5 of 5. And see, that we're already in the dominant as of the supertonic. That, so it's 1, 2, 5, 1. It's already 2, 5, 1. It's already 2, 5, 1. Get that? In fact, this right here is no longer 1. It's 4, 2, 5, 1. Why? Because 4, 2, 5, 1. So 2, 4, 2, 5, 1s. 4, 2, 5, 1. 4, 2, 5, 1. Nifty, huh? But it's real. It's not mechanical. It's real. It really is 4, 2, 5. No one hears it. Everyone does that mechanical, boring 5 of 5. You don't really hear it that way. It isn't that. It is so obviously 4, 2, 5. 4, 2. Clear. Obvious. But not obvious because most analysis of it into the hack version 5 of 5, and it's no longer, it hasn't been in C for a long time. It's already in the dominant. So a very quickie there to show the refinement of the analysis, right? And it's one of the great analysis of all time. So those, I think, are my quick notes. I think I did this in record time. I wanted to end with just some beautiful, I have gobs of quotations, which could change lives. Some of the quotations. I luckily noted them all. Maybe one day I'll do a book or something. I mean, but pages and pages of beautiful, inspiring quotations that are good for life, that are good for music. Of course, she saw no difference. Life, music, excuse me, there's a difference? You thought there was a difference? If you thought there was a difference, you're not meant to be a musician. Right. And it's not a problem. Why should, I mean, it's so obvious. I mean, you know, why would one want to live in so many disappointments and so many illusions? Why? Go elsewhere. No one asks. There are plenty of others who are ready to devote their lives to it. And if you don't see it that way, then just don't do it. It's okay, you know. But if you're going to do it, you pay with your life, obviously. As Thomas Mann says in Death in Venice, you cannot pluck from the tree of art in one leaf without paying for it with your life. It doesn't work that way, obviously. I would give yourself to it or you're done. Yeah, so after all of this greatness that we're talking about, yes, the greatness, and she really only dealt in masterpieces, I must say, and almost to a fault, I would say. I've come to realize in maturity that it's very instructive to show junk works to students, awful pieces, and to have the students work out why they're bad. I wish he had done more of that. It was always great, towering masterpieces. But that's a personal point of view. But before this greatness, the ongoing continuum, I use that word as I've already shown, it's one vast continuous continuum. And if we are not aware or awake enough to receive it, then not important, then meaningless almost. And she loved to quote Paul Valéry, again, the writer, her close friend, who quotes some man coming up to him and saying, "I love very much what you have written." And Valéry responds, "I am delighted, but if you had not understood what I have written, the work might as well not exist." Again, all about the other, right, and what one perceives. You, if you are dead, alive, awake, ready to receive, or not. I mean, it's all about that. And then another very well-known phrase that she would come out with: in order to write down one's dreams, one owes it to oneself to be fully awakened. Another well-known one. And I used to love that line all the time. In order to write down one's dreams, one owes it to oneself to be fully awakened. It's a Paul Valéry line. And years later, I read a line of Seneca, written in between 3 and 65 BC. 3 BC. It is for a man who has awoken from sleep to tell his dreams. So Seneca has already said it in antiquity, and Paul Valéry obviously gets it from there. And again, the continuum shows itself. And I felt great joy in seeing all of that. I've finished all of what I intended to say. I feel like pulling out of my bag. Now we have a few more minutes. I don't know. Now just to kind of just hang out. And maybe ask questions or read a few of my reams of quotations or, you know, all of the above. Yeah.
The Beethoven, and she said,
Yeah.
you hear the foray.
Right.
What makes foray? What is essential in French music?
What makes French music?
It's the non-functional dominant seventh chord. Okay? It's a dominant seventh chord on 2. It doesn't do that. It goes, and that's what makes it. The non-functional dominant seventh chord. So it's the 2, the dominant seventh on the 2nd degree, which goes to 1. It doesn't go 5 of 5. It goes. So it's not a 5 of 5. A hack analysis. Here we go again. Awful analysis would say probably 5 of 5. 5 of 5 to 1. 5 of 5 to 1. Thank God, the French system. Very clear. It's a dominant seventh on 2. Basta. To 1. That's what makes it French. That's what makes it fourré. It is pure, typical. He also does dominant seventh chords on 4, you know. Or sharp 4. Or 6. So all that non-functional, shall we say, dominant seventh chords on degrees other than 5, quite simply. And nonsense to 5 of 4, 5 of 2, 5 of... It's not a 5 of anything. It's a 2 to 1, quite simply. Honest. It's really what you hear. That's what I love. It's not, you know, if it were minor, you would understand immediately the minor 2. Right? Minor 2. But the there, the hack analysis without ears, say 5 of 5 to a 1. Cringe. Bad. They don't hear. It's not about hearing. And that's about hearing. Really what you hear. Any other hearing? And hearing. Any other sightings? Questions? 2 seconds maybe to read some quotations. It wasn't foreseen, literally, it's in a bag here. Lots of stuff. But I'd rather interact if there are, you know, specific questions, something like that. No?
What did you study with her?
Everything.
And,
Composition.
14, you
Huh.
came, what did,
13.
How did you come to study with her?
Students of hers in New York. Students of hers in New York, Louise Talma,
And they said come to
and Louis Martin. And they were all students of hers. And when I worked with these wonderful people in New York, they were saying, I think Nadia would.
Did you come to Fontainebleau?
And I came to Fontainebleau first.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was too young. I mean, to just spend a year. You know, I had to go back to school. So it was definitely back and forth between New York, Fontainebleau, back to school, back here, back and forth. Letters constantly between the two of us. Weeping, crying, here we go again. Weeping when we would have to leave each other. Wept. No one can believe this. She's so tough. Weeping. In each other's arms, rocking. I said, I don't want to leave you. I weep just at the thought now. I didn't want to leave them. I had to go back to these boring, normal teachers in normal schools. I said, I can't face it. But like you know you have to do this, you must have, I know, these pieces of paper they call degrees mean nothing. They do not make you the musician or the person that you are. We understand that, of course. But you have to go through this because I know it's instructive. But you'd be glad that you did what you have done. So, the necessity of having a degree. I saw her tear into people who were there working for, I can't remember the term, college. You get 3 credits for credits. So you come to a certain number of credits and a certain number of, they shock you. And as if that is going to make you understand here that, just scream. So it showed the gap, the huge chasm between, her thinking of true, pure musicianship and the requirements of the American educational system. I mean, quite simply, you have to have those credits and that piece of paper, and very 60s, 70s, the piece of paper. And
so she never had, she just...
I saw her tour.
She graduated from the Paris Conservatory and just began to teach. So she never had a postdoctorate anything.
She didn't have any. I think she got some honorary doctorates actually. Yeah, later in life she got honorary doctorates, des doctorats honoraires. À la fin de sa vie, Nadia a eu des doctorats honoraires, Oxford.
Elle a enseigné au conservatoire de Paris. Elle a enseigné l'accompagnement.
Oui, non, mais il parle de diplôme, de travail préalable. Et elle a eu, she had her diploma from the Paris Conservatory and she taught there. But later in life she had honorary doctorate, on parle de diplôme. Elle a eu des diplômes, honorary doctorates later in life, after she'd proven herself, amply proven herself. But the whole notion of diplomas, licence, all of that made her just disdain, total disdain. And one day there was one woman there and she was saying, I'm here to audit your classes for 2 credits and I saw, she tore up the paper. She tore up the woman's paper. The paper, she had submitted the paper to Mademoiselle to sign. Could you please sign this? And, to prove, to give me authorization to be doing this. And she, would you please explain exactly what this is? And the woman said, it's to get 2 credits for a certain course, doing the summer session here in Fontainebleau with you. And she ripped it. What does it mean? She ripped it up. And then she had one woman come to the piano and said, and the woman who was there for a refresher course, and the woman couldn't do anything. And she said, it's my duty, I don't care what your age is, to tell you that you're not meant to be a musician. So there are the moments of the rocking in each other's arms and the word love, and there are the moments of you're not meant to be a musician. It's all of the above. Yeah, it's strong stuff, for sure. Any other questions? I'd love to read some of these lovely quotations, but anything else?
Any questions?
What else? So to answer your question, we did composition, we did analysis, we did harmony, we did counterpoint, we did conducting, I sang, I did piano, absolutely everything.
I think traditionally, though, Fontainebleau has acted as sort of a portal for Americans to come to France as the first stop in their study in Paris.
Right.
So, and it was the same for you.
Oh, absolutely. Well, in fact, I mean, in 2004, there was an international Nadia Boulanger colloquium in Colorado, at the American Music Center in Boulder, Colorado. And people flew from all over the planet for this. And I flew in from Paris and did a lot of what I just did today was, in fact, conceived for that presentation in Boulder. And one of the conclusions, I mean, that was made, it was a very, very intense morning till night, 3 or 4 day weekend. Specialists from all over, people who are students of hers, or musicologists, and it was a very mixed, exciting group. From here, there were just Thérèse Kazetzi-Wilson and myself. I don't see anyone else from here. Current here was at that, just Thérèse and myself. And
Camille Naumoff.
oh, well, I'm talking about current people here. Current people here. Yeah, Emile was there, Robert Levin was there, on and on and on. You know, very serious, devoted Boulanger students. And one of the points that was made was that at the time she was alive, you had the choice of Arnold Schoenberg, Paul Hindemith, Nadia Boulanger. These are the maniac pedagogues alive. And it seems to be, you know, those are the big three where people were running field. Hindemith is at Yale, Schoenberg is in Los Angeles, and Nadia is here in Paris and all over the United States when she's doing tours, right? As you know, no doubt, yes, she toured all the great schools, giving courses, in addition to being the first woman to conduct those major orchestras, as you know. Hearing every note, of course, after first, conducting. They still haven't recovered. People in some of these orchestras, when she got on the podium and went, second trombone, G flat, not second trombone, G flat, not G natural. 2, 3, bam! So yeah, professionalism, the musicianship, etc., etc. And it's all not about parakeet, it's this note and not another note. It's all about some of the greatest phrasing of all time. I hope that point has been made clearly. Yes, that Dino Lipati, I think we like Dino Lipati, not bad, to be honest. That every note he claimed came from working with her. Yes, I owe everything to her. And a very intelligent interviewer asked Dino Lipati, well, what is it you owe to her? Could you be more specific? Yes, I can. Fine. The importance of weak beats and starting phrases that jump from weak beats and not always, hammering on strong ones. Is that, specifically the voicing of chords? Yes? The special attention to just playing on the tip of the finger, touch your forehead. And point by point, he just, gave the magic, what he was able to get from Nadia Boulanger just from pianism. But you know that her preference was not to give just specific instrumental lessons. I fought for the piano lessons. I earned them because I had done analysis class, composition class, conducting, counterpoint, and harmony. Earned it, but it really wasn't what she preferred. I mean, the first kind of request was that she gave to any musician coming to her is, come to the analysis class. Instinct. Who are you, a musician? That's what I want to see first. And then later you can play for her. So it's kind of like most people who played for her were people who were doing international competitions. She was on the jury of some of the greatest ones. The Leeds, the Chopin, she was on all of the piano competitions. And that's when she really was listening as a true, a juror, a teacher of piano, so to say. So you had to fight. And we're many who played for her as absolutely pianists, etc. But it first earned, in every case, no one just walked in and did piano lessons. Not one. You all did analysis first, and then when she had a sense that, good, okay, you can do piano. And they were fantastic. Those lessons were the pure piano. But it all is inseparable because, there was all the rest that had been done too. So we could play with all of that had already been covered. So what else? Jones look like.
No.
Another point? No? Another? I don't know. Maybe we should just go to lunch.
We can continue
Are we not?
quotes at lunchtime.
But are we doing lunch?
Yeah, there's lunch at Ecoles.
Oh, okay. Well, let's go to the Ecole meeting and we'll do there. Okay? Maybe it's time to go. Anyway.
Let's have a drink.
one more.
At 2:30, concert's at 2:30 tomorrow. And we're gonna have choir at 9:30. All right? Choir at 9:30. Here. Choir. Yes. Wait. 9:30. Okay.
Comment je peux faire sur Internet?
No, she's on the tree.